guys, welcome back to the channel. Hope you guys are having a great day. Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows finally hopping on this review. Really excited about it, and I'm really excited to get to share with you guys my thoughts on the finale of my So I Rewatched Harry Potter series. Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 1 was released in very late 2010, and Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2 was released in the summer of 2011. So it's officially been 10 years since the last film in the Harry Potter series was released. How ironic that this is when we finish my review series. So Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 1 picks up exactly where the Half-Blood Prince left off, where Harry, Ron, and Hermione are all going to now go and find the Horcruxes. They begin their journey by trying to get Harry to the Burrow, and in doing so, we now learn that the Death Eaters have a massive grip on the Ministry, as well as it seems like Harry's whole world. So in this movie, Harry, Ron, and Hermione are all on the run. They are not at Hogwarts this year. They are hunting Horcruxes out in the wild. Now, I enjoyed this film for the most part, but I found myself in the same loop that happened when I reread the Deathly Hallows book. That loop being, this film, as well as much of the book, has to do with Harry, Ron, and Hermione. They plan something out. They go to execute their plan. They get caught, almost, by Death Eaters. Somebody might get hurt. And then they escape. Most of the time to the woods. It happens a lot in this film, because this film is essentially the first 2/3 of the Deathly Hallows book. And it's very important parts, but so much of it is very repetitive. And so I have to, I guess, blame J.K. Rowling on that, because you can't differ too much from the source material, and especially with your plot, and now you're dealing with a plot that's very repetitive. So I kind of understand why the filmmakers couldn't get around this, but it is something that I noticed both while watching the film and reading the book, and it was really annoying. Now, I think, once again, the best actor in this is Daniel Radcliffe. Throughout this series, he has grown up so much, and you can really tell that his acting chops are so much better than any of the kids that he started with. He's really gotten his grip on acting, and it's really cool to see him from now back in the first film when he wasn't that great of an actor. But Harry's got the best moments of the film. Probably the most touching moment of the film for me is when Harry and Hermione go to visit Godric's Hollow, and Harry sees his parents' graves for the first time. And that really got emotional for me. I really felt that. And throughout this part of the film, I was pleased with this part. You know, the part where, right after Ron leaves, and it's just Harry and Hermione for about 25 minutes or so. This section of the film was easily my favorite part of the film. You had the Godric's Hollow scene, and I think right before that, you had the scene where Harry dances with Hermione. And it's beautiful. I absolutely love it. And there's no romance there. It's just Harry being a good guy and trying to help his friend feel better. And I love that there isn't that love connection there. It's just friendly. It's just friends, and I love that. So, finale of this film is when Harry and the gang are escaping from the Malfoy Manor. And this is, of course, when we get the sad, sad death of Dobby. Dobby, the house elf, who, poor guy, just got the wrong end of the stick in these movies. He's barely in, he's in Chamber of Secrets. He's not in a film or even mentioned in a film until this one, and all of a sudden Dobby's important again. So, sadly, he dies, and it is very heartfelt. It represents that innocence of Harry. He has now lost something, he's now lost his childhood at this moment. Dobby represented Harry's innocence, and when Dobby died, it was his innocence dying as well. Harry's childhood's now gone. He has to step up in the next film and end it. And I think that's what that symbolizes. I think. I found a lot of the scenes in this were boring. I could have skipped half of them. I wouldn't miss ever watching them again. I like the middle portion of the film here, but most of it's just fine. So I'm going to give Deathly Hallows Part 1 a 6 out of 10. And now we've reached the finale, Deathly Hallows Part 2. Deathly Hallows Part 2 is non-stop finale action. So Harry, Ron, and Hermione have now, at this point, learned what the Deathly Hallows are. They learn that Voldemort has the Elder Wand, and they realize they have to kill these Horcruxes in order to stop Voldemort from becoming the most powerful wizard ever. I mean, instantly, within the first 10 minutes, they're invading Gringotts, and they're taking one of the Horcruxes, and there's this huge action scene with the dragon, and it's awesome. Action right away. And then, I thought this film did a lot better than the last, was you actually spend a lot of time in one location instead of jumping from location to location to location. You get a little bit at Bill and Flora's Shell Cottage near the beginning, a little bit of Gringotts, and then the rest of the film is at Hogwarts. Very familiar territory, and it's great for audiences to connect with this iconic piece and to set the finale at this location that audiences love. Voldemort realizes that Harry knows about the Horcruxes and that Harry is hunting the Horcruxes. So Voldemort ends up, trying to hunt Harry down. A lot of the Battle of Hogwarts is about, Harry trying to get the last of the Horcruxes before Voldemort gets to him. I mean, it's just nails to the wall. Nails to the wall? Pedal to the metal action. Non-stop. Until we get this great scene of Harry as he's about to die. And then he dies, and then he comes back. There's this great segment where Harry talks to some of his parental figures, Lupin, Sirius, his father and his mother, which, by the way, real quick, James and Lily Potter, they were 21 when they died. In these films, making them look 40 is really dumb. Because Harry's supposed to see his dad, and they're supposed to look basically identical. They're about 4 years difference in age apart from each other. And Harry dying at 17 and his dad dying at 21, it should mean a lot more when you see just how young that James and Lily really were when they died, how tragic it really was. Anyway, Harry goes up, he gives himself up to Voldemort, and Voldemort casts the killing curse, and then Harry awakens and has this fantastic conversation with Dumbledore. The acting in this scene takes the cake. It's fantastic in this scene. There's a lot of lore explained. There's a lot of great chemistry between these two characters for the last time. It's really special. Then, of course, Harry comes back to life. Springs into battle. All the crew's fighting. They kill all the last of the Horcruxes. Neville gets his moment to shine. Harry defeats Voldemort. There's a 2-minute epilogue about Harry and Ginny are now married and have kids. Ron and Hermione are married and have kids. Their kids are going off to Hogwarts. Everything's good. Everything's fine. All is well, says the book. And that's the finale of Harry Potter. And this movie is much more entertaining than the Deathly Hallows Part 1. I don't think that Deathly Hallows Part 2 is a spectacular film or even is the best film in the series. It's actually not. I think that there is an improvement upon the first one here. This is the best part of the book, and this is definitely the better of the two movies. Special effects across these two films are great. They're top notch. Locations are great. David Yates, I still don't understand why David Yates cut all the color out of this world, but there's that. I'm not sure if David Yates how much of a hand he really had with the script and with the screenplay, but changing a few of these things, just like they have in the other ones, they leave stuff out. The mirror that Sirius gives Harry, which is never explained in the movie, that's very important. Peter Pettigrew's last final act, which is showing Harry mercy, and then he ends up getting killed by Voldemort's own hand. That's not in the movie. There's a lot of great stuff not put in these films, but I've kind of grown to accept that's the way it's going to be, because these films basically just take the plot, like the main plot, and focus on that. But I will say Deathly Hallows Part 2 is a 7 out of 10. That's it. I finished all the Harry Potter films. Which one is your favorite? Let me know down below. Don't forget to watch the rest of my Harry Potter reviews if you haven't before. Grab yourself a Pepsi, and you guys have a good one. I'll see you later. Bye. I feel like I'm really off center. Am I in center now?